Lecture 2. For the following items, you will hear a lecture about an urban development project. You will listen to the lecture only once. As you listen, mark the alternative that answers each question or completes each statement. Before you listen to the lecture, you will have 60 seconds to look at the questions.
Well, today I'd like to talk about a very interesting urban development project. A new city called Masdar City. It is located in the desert not far from Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. It's an interesting project because it is going to be an eco-city. In fact, it is going to be the world's first zero-carbon city. Now, what is an eco-city? An eco-city is a city that is strategically healthy. In other words, it's a city that cares for the environment and makes as little negative impact on it as possible. This means that the inputs of energy, water, and food are minimum, and the waste outputs, heat, air, and water pollution are also as low as possible. A zero-carbon city, on the other hand, goes further and reduces all harmful emissions to nothing, to zero. So, for example, transport in such a city would produce no pollution at all. Let's turn to Masdar City itself. It's being built in the desert about 40 kilometers from Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates capital city. It will eventually have a population of about 40,000, and there will be at least 1,000 businesses and a university, bringing in 50,000 additional visitors on a daily basis. The city is being designed by the famous British architecture firm Foster & Partners. And this company estimates that the total cost of the project will be between 10 and 20 billion pounds. Now, what about energy? We've already seen that eco-cities or zero-carbon cities use renewable energy such as wind power. Well, in the United Arab Emirates, one of the world's largest producers of fossil fuels, but also one of the hottest and driest countries in the world, they have decided to use the sun as a source of renewable energy. This seems an intelligent and wise attitude. They have built the biggest solar farm in the Middle East to power the city. They are also experimenting with different ideas of generating power. For example, they are using mirrors to concentrate sunlight, and in this way, they are producing heat to drive generators. Next, I'd like to look at the cooling of the city. In the desert, of course, daytime temperatures are very high, more than 45 degrees in the summer. So, how can a city of 50,000 people and 1,000 businesses be cooled efficiently? Interestingly, Masdar City will use a variety of centuries-old strategies to keep the cities comfortable. One method is the design of the city itself. Traditional Arab cities are very compact. The buildings are close together with narrow walkways which provide plenty of shade and help keep cities cool. Secondly, the walls will be covered with a special material called terracotta mesh. This is a building material with holes in it. This material will keep the sun out but let the wind in, and so it will help keep the temperature down. A third solution proposed is wind towers. These are traditional Arab buildings. To be exact, they are tall, square towers with open sides at the top. These towers will catch any wind and direct it down into the streets and buildings in order to keep the city cool. Now, what about transport? How will the inhabitants of Masdar city move around? Well, firstly, the city is very compact, so the residents will be able to walk to most places. Streets will be pedestrianized. In other words, the streets will be traffic-free. There will, however, be a special kind of public transport called pod cars. These are green, driverless vehicles powered by solar energy. They stop and start automatically and are programmed to go where you ask. So, finally, what about the future of the city? Well, the city is due to be completed around 2030. The designers claim that in addition to helping the environment by building a zero-carbon city, Masdar will be a happy and healthy place for the inhabitants to live in. The air will be clean and pollution will be minimal. Though it seems costly, this amazing city will be worth living in. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Any questions?